Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at some players that are 25 and under that I enjoy watching. To me, it's really exciting that there's these young players are beginning to make a mark in Major League Baseball, and yeah, it's some people say the game isn't what it was. Well, I think it's better than it's ever been, and these players that are coming along now, although maybe not the going to be Hall of Famers or even great players and World Series champions or anything like that. They've just there's some interesting stories around all of these guys. So the first guy, he's with the Angels. His name is Kyron Paris. He played 15 games in 2023. He played 14 games last year, or sorry, 21 games in 2024. And so far in the 14 games, when I took these stats out, his stats are better than in the previous 2 years combined. He's playing second base and outfield for the team. He's some amazing power that he's showing, and especially for a middle infielder. But and his batting too. He's batting 368. He's got 5 home runs and 8 RBIs in the 14 games that up until I had put down his stats. This is a couple days ago now. To me, it's just interesting that he's burst onto the scene so quickly and is making an impact with a team that is actually in the Angels that are actually overachieving at this time. Now, the next guy on the list is the Cubs' Pete Crow Armstrong. He's 23. He's playing center field for the Cubs. He came to the team last year. I don't know if there was a lot of fanfare. Maybe there was, but he seemed to take the city of Chicago not by surprise, but they fell in love with him. That's for sure. And the real interesting thing we'll talk about his playing abilities. But for those of you that don't know, his mom is Ashley Crow. She's an actress, and if you saw the movie Little Big League, she was the mother in that movie in Little Big League. And her son ended up inheriting the Minnesota Twins, and he became their manager. And there was a whole story, and it was interesting. It was a love story. It was a baseball story. All sorts of things. But so Ashley Crow, who played the mother of a young kid, I think he was probably about 12 or 13 years old in the movie. She was the mother of the owner of a baseball team. Well, now in real life, she's the mother of a Major League Baseball player. And Pete Crow Armstrong is a very, very good player. I think his average is he's not he's not hitting a high average, but then there's lots of guys in the major leagues that aren't now. But he can run, he can chase down a ball, that's for sure. And the other night, I was watching him against the Angels, and many of you probably saw it because it was the the national game on Sunday night. He had he had 2 home runs and a triple. So and a lot of that has to do with his speed. At least the triple does. He's got a personality too, and that's another thing I like. He has a personality, and I think that's one of the traits you'll see in a lot of these players. So the next guy on my list from the Cincinnati Reds, Ellie De La Cruz. He's their shortstop. He's 23 years of age, and you know what? He doesn't have a big average. He seems to get hits though when it's important. But really, the thing I like, he's a very gifted defensive player. He made a catch a week or so ago. He went, and this is a pop fly in foul ground, heading along the third baseline. Remember, he's playing shortstop. He was shifted over a bit. He went 109 feet to catch a fly ball, like, and that's a lot. Like, think about that. More than it is from first from one base to the next. It's 90 feet. Well, now we're 109. He's chasing after a ball, and he got to it, and it wasn't like it was a high pop fly. He's fast, and the interesting thing about him, I think he's 6'6", something like that, 6'5", and all these long levers. He can throw a ball. He's got a nice swing. Although it's, I think he's young, right? He's. I think they can make him chase pitches, but he's going to be great. But the thing that I really like about him, he looks like he is just in. It's just pure joy for him to be on the field. He just loves to be out there. At least that's what it looks like to me, and that's what I like about the way he plays. The next player, Jackson Merrill from the San Diego Padres. He is only 22 years old, and he's a center fielder. He's on the IL right now. He's coming off probably very quickly, if not maybe even today. I don't know. This is Wednesday, the 16th of April. But he just burst onto the scene with this team that all these guys like Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. and Xander Bogaerts and all these veteran players on a very talented team. And this guy is able to come in and get a spot on a team at last year at 21 years of age. He yeah, I don't have his average down here, but it was very good. He's the center fielder on this team. I mean, he just it's again another guy that has just burst onto the scene, and again because it's such a veteran, talented team, you wonder, well, gee whiz, how did he ever make it? Well, his ability has got him on the team. I can't wait till he gets back off the IL, and it's going to take him a bit probably to get into game shape, but he's a joy to watch as well. The next guy, and this guy is probably my favorite player in the major leagues right now on the Pittsburgh Pirates, pitcher Paul Skeens. He's 23 years old. He's just he's a breath of fresh air to the game. He's last year he was 11-3, and he came up. I can't remember. I'm going to say it was in the spring when he came up. In fact, I was out working, cleaning windows, and I I just put the Cubs and the Pirates on. It might have been the only game that was on my phone while I was working. Again, this is during the daytime. It was a day game, so it was probably a Wednesday or a Thursday. And Paul Skeens is pitching, and they were all pretty excited about him pitching. And I can't remember what he did, but he was very impressive for his first start in the major leagues. As I said, he was 11-3 last year, and coming up late. Probably a lot of no decisions in there. Even this year, he's 2-1, and he has one no decision already. But you know what? He just he's a good guy. He kind of just takes things as they come. I think he's very humble. He's very much involved in the community as far as raising money for underprivileged people, and he's going to be. I think he's going to last a long time. And you can say that about any pitcher, but then along comes the dreaded Tommy John surgery. But he seems to me to be a guy like Roger Clemens, who had a long career. He's built very much like Clemens. I think he's probably taller than Clemens. He's 6'6", 260 pounds. I don't know that Clemens was quite that big, but the same build, that same stocky build, and I think, and he's a hard worker like Clemens was, uh, not just on the field, but away from when he wasn't pitching on his days off, he was always working hard to stay in shape, and that was what Clemens did, and that's what gave him his longevity, and I think that Skeens will be the same. I sure hope so, because again, he's a breath of fresh air. He just kind of relaxed and cool and calm about everything, and I like that about him. The next guy from the Arizona Diamondbacks, Gabby Moreno. He is their catcher. He's 25 years old. He's the oldest guy on this list, along with one other. Um, he's a former Blue Jay, and that's kind of why he came into my consciousness. Although I'm not a Blue Jay fan, they're on every night here. I can't watch them on the MLB TV because we're blacked out here in Canada, but they're on Rogers every night, so we see them. And of course, that's all the talk on all the sports shows during baseball season. Blue Jays, Blue Jays, Blue Jays. Well, that was a mistake trading him away. I think they got Dalton Varsho for him or something, somebody like that. A very good player they got, but Gabby Moreno was scheduled to be their catcher, the best catcher in their system. He the Jays at the time had oh gee, who did they? Well, it's Alexander Kirk and Danny Jansen and decent catchers, but this guy is going to be better. And the reason I feel confident in saying that is that you listen to the or watch the Diamondbacks home games, and Bob Brenly, who used to manage the team and has managed other teams as a quality manager, he and was a catcher. He is now one of the play-by-play guys for the. He's a color analyst actually on the Diamondbacks broadcast, and he has nothing but good things to say about Gabby Moreno. So, you got a guy who was a very good manager, and now he's and a catcher to boot, and he's impressed. Well, I'd take that word to the bank. Again, a very good player, and a young player, and just it's good to see a catcher that is doing that. Now the next guy from the Orioles, Jackson Holliday. He's 22. He's mostly a second baseman for him. He was playing some shortstop um, when who was their shortstop that was out? Gunnar Henderson was out, and so he played a little shortstop. That's early this year, but he's a second baseman. He's off to a bit of a rough start. Although tonight, Wednesday, now that he hit a grand slam, they said that's his second. He's got 7 home runs this year, and that's his second grand slam. Or sorry, he has 7 home runs in his career, which was he came up last year, and he and was sent back and came back. Anyway, he's 7 home runs in his career, and 2 of them are grand slams. And I think both were kind of left center, and he's a left-handed batter, so he does have power to all fields. His to me, his biggest problem is that, and it's why I pay attention to him. His dad was Matt Holliday. Matt Holliday was a wonderful player for the Colorado Rockies and the St. Louis Cardinals and other teams. And I think that pressure maybe is weighing on him. The expectations maybe are weighing at 22 years of age. That's got to be tough. So, but I hope he does well, and that's why I keep my eye on him because of his situation. So I hope he does well. The next guy from the Cleveland Guardians is John Kensey Noel. He's 24. He's an outfielder DH. I think he needs to work on his defense. John Kensey Noel, but what a great name, eh? John Kensey Noel. I love names, and this is one of my favorites, and I love his nickname too. His nickname is Big Christmas. Well, how can you not like a guy named Big Christmas? What a what a great name! And he's got some home runs. He started well last year when he came up. Then he went into a bit of a slump. He hit a home run in the playoffs, and he's probably struggling a little bit now, but I think he's good. He's a big man, so I think he'll do okay. And again, Big Christmas. I'm going to follow him and see how he does. I hope he lasts a long time too. Next up is the Kansas City Royals, Bobby Witt Jr. The best player on this board is Bobby Witt Jr. In as far as I'm concerned. And if you think about it, last year Aaron Judge was the MVP. Aaron Judge received every first place ballot to be in the MVP voting. Bobby Witt Jr. received every second place ballot. So I mean, you can't do much better than that. If it weren't for Aaron Judge, Bobby Witt Jr. is the MVP in the American League. He last year hit 332 with 32 home runs and 109 RBI and 31 stolen bases. That's the other thing. He can run. He's played in the middle of the field at shortstop. He those elevated pitching or hitting stats, and he can run and he can throw. He's just a complete player, a five-tool player as far as I'm concerned, and I hope he's around for a long time. He's another one that his dad was a player, um, but he was a pitcher, so a little bit different. So maybe not quite the pressure, being he plays a different position. I'm thinking back to Jackson Holiday now and his pressure with his father. The last player on the list, and the reason I've got him there is because, as I've mentioned before, the Athletics are my team. Um, Jacob Wilson is their shortstop. He's 23 years of age. Um, his dad was a major leaguer as well. They call him the future of the team. I hope he is. And again, he's in the middle of the field at 23 years old, so he's an important piece of the puzzle. And I really, I spent a lot of time watching the Athletics, and I didn't hear much about him until he came up, and then all of a sudden, holy cow! Because they had some shortstops that I thought were doing okay, and then now Jacob Wilson comes up when they felt he was ready, and he's just taken over. And so far this year, he's batting 344, a couple of home runs, 8 RBIs. So he's going to be a quality player. I hope so for the A's for as long as I continue to watch them. I hope he is. I don't know if I'm ready to go to Las Vegas with them, but we shall see. Anyway, those are some of the players. If there's any other players that you can think of that, younger players, I mean, there's some guys that just missed that list. A guy like, uh, uh, he's been around forever, but he came out as a very good player when he came, and he's getting better. And that is Fernando Tatis Jr. And I think he's maturing, and I didn't really like his attitude, and I didn't really like the Padres that much with the group they had there with Machado and and Tatis Jr. And a few others. They just seem like a little bit crazy going on over there. But now they're maturing, and Tatis is. And I watched him the other night make a play in go after a line drive, picked up a ball on one hop, had to turn in the air and make a throw to second base from the right field foul line. What an athletic play! So those are players. So is there anybody else like that? If you any thoughts about any other players, put it in the comments section down below, and just let me know what you think about that or about any of these players. What do you think of them? So that's it for this. If you haven't done so already, please hit like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate your support. I will talk to you again soon.